Hey, welcome to the video. What I've got here is a P90 pickup, and I'd like to talk about alternate ways of installing pickups into a guitar. And this is a project that came along that I thought would make a really good video. But first off, this is not my guitar. This is a guitar that my good friend Scott Bodden made, and he does these. He calls them FUGLYs. Check him out on Facebook. These are really interesting guitars. These are all brand new parts that he relics, and these guitars look like they're a million years old. They haven't played one single note. All the parts in this guitar are all brand new. He brings these to me to set them up, to do some fine tuning, whatever it needs to turn them into a playable guitar. So I thought this would be a really great video to show what I've done to install these P90 pickups. It's a little bit different, a little out of the ordinary, so I thought it might be kind of interesting. When Scott dropped this guitar off, it was basically a neck, a body, a bag of parts, and there you go. Have at it. All these parts have never been together before, so there is a fair amount of tweaking. They're all brand new parts except these pickups. These came out of another guitar. And normally a P90 pickup will have mounting screws through these two holes. Basically wood screws, sometimes right into the wood. Sometimes machine screws that'll screw into a bracket that's attached inside the cavity here. In this case, these are the brackets that came with the pickups, and they attach to the bottom like so, like that. And then the guitar that these pickups came out of had a pick guard, and they hung off the pick guard exactly the same way as like single coil pickups in a Fender Strat. This guitar is not a Fender Strat. I do have a pick guard, but it's only for the neck position and not for the bridge. So I can't use that system to mount these pickups, and that's where the problems came in. The person that he's building this guitar for does not want to see any screws in the front. And I made up a couple of mock pictures showing Scott, like, okay, you know, how do you want this to look? Because there has to be some way of mounting these. We can't just magically suspend them in space. So that was the thing. No screws or anything on the front, nice and clean, nothing cut into the pick guard, and he wanted them adjustable. So that made a little bit of a challenge, because how I would have done it if it were my guitar, I would set it up, get the action where I want it, and then I would mount the pickups. I would put a block of wood in, I would make the block to the right height, and then I would screw in the P90 right to that block of wood, nice and tight. It's never going to have to move, and that's the way it would be for the life of the guitar. Because he wants it adjustable, things are a little different, and there's no brackets to mount the P90s. We do have this bracket. So I said, well, I do have some ideas. So I did come up with this, and I got the go-ahead. So first off, like I said, this bracket went along the bottom of the pickup. I didn't really like how it sat. Let's see if I can show you there. It doesn't sit straight. You can see one side up here sits up a little high once you screw it in. There's wood screws that actually, they go in here, and they go in through the bottom of the pickup instead of, you know, typically up on the top. I didn't like the way it sat, so I was like, well, I made this. It's a little piece that fits on there. It's just a piece of ABS plastic that I had, a little scrap piece, and now that fits on top. Now it's more or less nice and straight. I like that a lot better. Now the thing is, this mounting bracket is bigger than the opening, which makes it kind of tricky. So I actually I took my Dremel out and I chiseled out, or I carved out little cavities, little caves in here, so that what you can do is, I just take these screws off. I think it's pretty clever. So basically what you do is you put this bracket in, you push it all the way to the top, let it drop down, and then you can slide it back. It is a bit tricky. I'll tell you that right now. Getting this spring under the bracket and getting this bolt through the hole and through the back, it's not impossible, but it takes a little bit of patience. And once you get the first one in, the one on the other side is a lot easier. But, you know, it's not like you're going to be doing this every day. The only time that anybody will have to do it is if they ever replace the pickups. Other than that, once. Anyways, I did make little plastic washers that fit in there because this is a pine body. And these tiny, tiny little screws are just going to eat right through that. You know, they're going to wear through the pine in no time. So I made little washers out of just plastic pieces that I've had and painted them black just so it'll save the wood from getting ripped apart. You've got a clean look on the front. So it's like, you know, business in the front, party in the back, I guess. Or party in the front, business in the back, because that's where the holes are. So that would be the business, right? What else can I say? Before I did anything on this guitar, before I drilled any of my holes or anything like that, I worked this out on a sheet of paper. This is a life-size scale drawing, kind of a blueprint of what I wanted to do. And this is a side shot, so it let me know exactly how far to drill into the back, how far the bolt would stick up, how far the pickup would stick up, if I had to route in more or add wood or anything else. And then there is a side shot, or I guess a front and back shot, showing when I had to work out how deep those little caves or little notches had to be. Basically what you do is, this is the adjustment. So there's your spring, the bracket, the pickup. You go in from the back and your pickup will rock back and forth. You know, like it'll adjust back and forth like that to get, you know, just the right height or adjustment or whatever you need. These screws you'll never touch. The reason you have to go in from the back is because you put your bracket in, put your springs in, and these bolts, now you have to figure out how to attach your pickup. You can't put the bracket on the pickup and then put it in the, you know, that was the big problem. So I had to figure out, well, you know, you can't just shove everything in there and expect it to work. So that was why I had to drill these 2 extra holes, because once you put the pickup in, you can get the screwdriver through and screw the pickup to the bracket on both sides, and then all you have to do is make your adjustments. And I figured that was a pretty simple workaround, simple yet complicated workaround, but I think it keeps the front of that guitar nice and clean, and that's what we're trying to accomplish with this, or what I'm trying to accomplish with this. I hope everybody's happy with it. I hope Chris, the musician that's going to get this guitar, that he's commissioned it off of my friend Scott, I hope he's happy with it. Just installed the bracket for the neck pickup. You can see it's all nice and springy, just the way it should be. I won't lie, this was kind of a tricky thing to do, to get that bolt up in from behind and the spring in, and get the bracket on top of it and push it down, and then to get the bolt to find where the hole was and to screw it in without stripping it. It's a bit of a challenge. It really is. But once you get one side on, the other side goes on a lot easier, obviously, because you have something to hold on to. I've got a piece of tape here just so I could hold on to the bracket and move it around a little bit easier. But this one's ready to go for the bridge, and that's pretty much how it's set up there. And with these little plastic washers that I made, just so the head of that screw just, you know, so it doesn't eat into the pine, because that's a pretty small head. There we go. Guitar is all assembled, ready to go. The bridge is intonated, strings are on, obviously. Plays nice, sounds great, and it looks great. I think that's a good looking guitar, and I do think that this looks really cool, not showing anything as far as adjustment screws here. You know, I mean, that was one of the options I could route out for those adjustment screws. There's no screws here, which looks nice. It looks kind of clean. Everything is on the back. So all the adjustments are done back here. So this is what makes this guitar very unique and unusual. But it works. It works really well. And I mean, you're not going to have to adjust these every day. Scott's going to have to age these holes to match, you know, the rest of the wearing on this guitar. He's done all this work so he can match these holes in. You can see the little set screws, the little screws in here. That's how you adjust the pickups very easily with the spring and the screw. These holes, that's how you mount the pickups to that brass bar. It's the only way to do it. You can't put the brass bar on the pickup and then put that assembly into the guitar because there's no room here. It's a nice tight fit, and that's what makes this guitar look really cool. Black pickups, black pickguard, yeah, I think that's a good look. So I wouldn't do this to a vintage guitar, no way. I mean, this is not a vintage guitar. This is actually a brand new guitar. This is the first time that all these parts have been put together, believe it or not. Scott does a great job with relicing all this stuff, and just for a nice little shout out to him there. There he is, the FUGLY Hot Rod Shop. Check him out on Facebook, see what he's doing. I don't know what else I can say. Subscribe to my channel, Johnny B Guitars. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Thanks for watching this video. There's more coming up with stuff like this. There. All right. See ya. Thanks for watching.